So is this just like you just get to stay here and that's just how it goes? That's what they do, right? Like you just chill here and like no one can you all right. I'm not used to cats. The last cat that I was around was really freaked out by my lightsaber, and so the cat ran and hid. So I don't, but we're live. This is it. Hi everybody. Happy holidays from everyone here at Get Your Shoes On with John. This is New Wave Vader, and I just want to wish all of you a happy holiday season. Thank you so much for tuning in this year. There's a cat that just sort of hangs out here a bunch, and that's just something that goes down. It's a quirky time, but I also, if you're looking for a gift and you don't know what to do this holiday season, you know what makes an awesome gift is the gift of music. And I am so stoked to finally announce my side project. Ewok Banshee is live and released. That is my new project. It is me and Iggy Pop. Oh, that's right. Me and Iggy Pop, a power duo with me and Iggy. Iggy sings and plays a washboard. I shred on guitar. I know you're thinking that's a weird combo. A dude on a washboard, and of course he doesn't have a shirt on. And then I can't take my shirt off. There's all kinds of wires and stuff. I look pretty gnarly with my shirt off. When I go to the beach, I'm really self-conscious. But Iggy totally still looks great at his age. And we just Ewok Banshee, man. Check us out on Bandcamp. Our main nucleus is MySpace, so check us out there. It's just myspace.com/Ewok Banshee. And we are wasting no time. We're touring in 2020. Go to ewokbanshee.us to find out when we're coming to a city near you. And, or just like type Ewok Banshee into Netscape and you'll totally find us. But yeah, we're touring. Me and Iggy bringing it back. Dude, we're gonna make the dark side look like hacks, man. I mean, we are going like just at our last practice. Like, I just looked over at Iggy and I was like, dude, I feel it, bro. And he was like, I feel it too. So, all right. I mean, you're still just here. This cat just like chills. It's kind of neat. Just this, she's just like, hey, yeah, this is what I do. I chill. I'm a cat. But let me tell you something, cat. My name's New Wave Vader, and you know what I do? I shred. That's what I do. I freaking shred. All right. Happy holidays. Hi, this is Nancy Pelosi wishing everyone here at Get Your Shoes On with Jeremy a happy holiday season. And because we're capitalists, I'm proud to announce that if you go to www.expresscouponcapitalist.com, you can get 30% off at your local Kmart. Just enter promo code Nancy at checkout. Kmart, it's where the toys are. It's Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, you commies. Merry Christmas. You got a problem with that? You want to start a war about it? There's already a war about it. It's Merry Christmas. And Chick-fil-A, my favorite restaurant, updated their menu. And in honor of that update, I'm here to tell you it's macaroni and cheese, not Adam and Steve. Happy holidays or Merry Christmas, rather, to all you commie hippie weirdos that watch this weird show. Hi, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday season. Even all the people in Russia, even the Russians, they get a happy holiday too. Also, if you could give to my campaign, this is Adam Schiff. It's not easy being the resistance against Trump and then, of course, approving all of his policies while pretending to be in actual opposition. So please, if you can give some, give as much as you can immediately right away. I'm totally not in this for myself. Happy holidays. Hello. You knew I was going to go last. Happy holiday season, everybody that watches this show. Get your booze going with John or whatever it is called. Hello, Black Cat. I like Black Cat. Black Cat is my favorite producer in business. She sat here through all contributors. I feel like she's judging each and every one of us. But anyway, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday season and may your 2020 be filled with chaos. Mine already is filled with lots of chaos. And I already started. I'm working on many memes for 2020. And also, in break room, I put laxative in Adam Schiff's coffee. You may be thinking, I thought this was a show that was run out of some dude's apartment in one bedroom where he talks to Black Cat. How do they have break room? And don't worry about those inconsistencies. There is break room. Besides, I can time travel. You think I can't make break room in dude's apartment? I can. This is Chaos Agent 11, wishing you a happy holiday season. And remember, it was me. Whatever it was me. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the holiday stream. Happy holidays. It's been a crazy morning. We had to start 15 minutes late because I had a late night. I had a very late night. And it's also been a weird morning. Adam Schiff is in my bathroom and he's been in there for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? And he just like mumbles something. And then Chaos Agent 11 is in the corner laughing hysterically. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever. This is a small apartment, even though we did manage to just build the break room. So anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and a happy and blessed holiday season to you and yours. Lucy's chilling. What's up, Lucy? How are you? Hope you're doing well. I think she's a little cold. It got cold here again. I know you're all very concerned. Those of you who have real winters, you're like, please, Ron, tell us what happened in Southern California. Did it rain? Did it rain a little bit, Ron? Did you get wet for a brief second? Yes, it did. People were going nuts. We had a big party last night over at the Convo Couch Mansion, which is what I like to call it. It's not a mansion, but it's a great place. And yeah, it was raining, and people were like, "It's raining," and everyone was like, "Really?" But anyway, late night, fun times, and Lucy's here, and happy holidays, and check out this fun story to start out a Music Monday. Oh wait, I'll do a little bit of quick housekeeping first. So I put out a poll, and I asked if we should change the time to Get Your News On with Ron starting next year. I was like, in 2020, do you guys want to change the time? And it was a narrow vote. It was about 50% to about 37%. And then some people voted for the other options. But the vote was in favor of changing the time, pushing it back an hour, and starting it at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I'll be experimenting with that a little bit come the new year. We might have some different times going on. You guys did vote to switch the time. Some of you who voted to not switch the time brought up the fact that like lunch hour is a pretty solid thing. So I get that. But yeah, we'll likely be changing the time some up a little bit in 2020. All right, so we'll get to that. And, I'll be posting. I haven't decided yet. So, the show will be back next year. And in the meantime, I'll figure that out. What I might do is I might experiment, trying different times, seeing if it makes a difference, seeing what you guys like best. And then we'll either stick with one, or maybe we'll alternate it a little bit throughout the week. Like one day it'll start at 10 a.m. Pacific. The other day it'll start at 11. We'll see. But for now, let's get to a great Music Monday story. Check this out. Denny's thought teenage punk show booker was renting this space for a meal. So when I first saw this, I thought it was from the satirical webzine The Hard Times. I thought this was a fake story. And then I looked closer and I'm like, oh no, this actually happened. So check this out. Last weekend, a teenage punk became an online hero. Bryson Duvall, who is 17 years old and is from Costa Rica, booked a punk show in the back of a Denny's in Santa Ana, California. The Long Beach punk band Wacko played a 20-minute set to a chain restaurant full of rowdy kids who did nearly $2,000 worth in damage. So here's what this guy told Billboard, this Duvall guy. All it took was some initiative. He paid a $100 deposit to rent the room. Denny's didn't ask too many questions. A spokesperson for Denny's told Billboard that the manager assumed he was renting the space for a meal, which is the room's intended purpose, and that no one had ever done anything like this before. Check this out in parentheses. A metal band played at a Denny's in 2013, but the spokesperson clarifies that Denny's had been abandoned and was not a functioning location. That's awesome. A metal band rocked an abandoned Denny's. All right, so Duvall helped shut down the show at the manager's insistence after someone pulled down one of the restaurant's light fixtures and someone else threw a laptop into the mosh pit and the cops were called. Duvall says she was super nice the whole time. And later he heard from the manager that they wanted $1,800 for damage and that, here, check it out. This is a quote from this guy. Later they said they wanted $1,800 for damage and that I had to pay it through cashier's check or money order. I don't even know what a money order is. Duvall isn't sure what was on the document he signed. And even if he did sign a rental contract, it's probably not enforceable under California law, though, since Duvall is a minor. How did they rent a Denny's room to a minor in the first place? And it looks like he didn't. He just gave them $100. He just gave him $100 and was like, hey, I want to use that room. And they were just like, okay, how old are you? We don't care. It's $100. We're Denny's. This is pretty funny. And I know, well, stuff got damaged, Ron. Yeah, Denny's can afford it. A light fixture got damaged, whatever. They're a huge corporate chain. They can fix it. The memories created in that space were priceless. All right, so here's what happened. Again, Duvall, I don't know how they can enforce this because he's a minor. All right, so the band set up a GoFundMe for Duvall really quickly because, again, Denny's is coming at them for the $1,800. And this guy is not trying to dodge responsibility. He's saying, okay, we got to do this. The band Wacko, they set up a GoFundMe. We knew we had to help him out. Wacko frontman Zane Drayton tells Billboard, I hadn't met him until this show. When he messaged me and asked, do you want to play a show at Denny's? I was like, oh, don't play with me, man. So here's what Duvall's mom had to say. My mom was so proud, Duvall tells Billboard. She told me, I'm not trying to be too proud because what you did was probably illegal, but I am proud. That's pretty badass. Now, you might be thinking, man, there's a little bit of a dark cloud in this because $1,800 is a lot of money, especially if you're a 17-year-old kid. That's a lot of money. Well, guess what? a couple punk rockers decided they should pay it back a little bit. Green Day donated $2,000 to repair damage from the Denny's Punk Show, which covers the tab. It was about 1,800. They donated $2,000. All right, and so this article just kind of revisits what happened, and that's cool. Look, I'm not the biggest Green Day fan in the world. You guys know that about me. We've talked about it on the show before. Not the biggest Green Day guy, but I respect that they did this. Look, it wasn't too long. Well, it wasn't long ago at this point, but at one point in time, that was Green Day. Green Day was playing those house shows, and they were building followings around the country, playing shows that were put on by people like this 17-year-old kid. Years ago, that was Green Day, and it really worked out for them. They became millionaires, and I guarantee you, they started doing house shows. That's how they started. You know, especially back then, punk rock bands couldn't get booked in actual music clubs. So they either had to start small music clubs or they had to just use non-traditional venues and just kind of go wherever they could find a space to put on a show. So kids would rent gymnasiums or they would rent an auditorium, and usually the people didn't want them there. And that still goes on to this day. There's still a VFW punk scene that happens all around the country. So because of people like this kid, this Duvall kid, Green Day was able to build something that got really, really huge. So they decided to give something back. And I applaud them for that. You know, I mean, $2,000 to them is nothing. I mean, they could probably, that would be like an average person loaning somebody $10 or something. I mean, they're rich. So $2,000, especially if they split it 3 ways, you know, if everyone in the band pitched in a little bit, that's nothing for them. But it probably really helped this kid out a lot, because that's a lot of money to most people. To most people, that's an awful lot of money, but that's especially an awful lot of money to a 17-year-old kid. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I've never even seen $2,000 when I was that age. Like you're 17, you know. Like whenever my paycheck, you know, when I was that age, was I working at a grocery store at that point? I worked at a grocery store. That was my first job. And then I worked at this is kind of ironic a little bit. I worked at a tanning salon, but I worked at a tanning salon because my friend's mom owned it. So it was like a family business. So I worked there. And yeah, I never really saw paychecks that were $2,000 or anything close to it. It was just a part-time job I had. I was making minimum wage, whatever that was back then. I think it was like $5.15. Yeah, anyway, I don't need to go into that. But good for Green Day. This is a fun story. This is a feel-good story. Thought it'd be a fun way to start Music Monday. Here's a not so fun Music Monday story, though. This was shared with me by Truth to Tweet. Again, Truth to Tweet shares on this show a lot. False to Tweet never does. Never get a story from False to Tweet. They try to spread fake news, but they don't try it here. But Truth to Tweet, always about the truth. So check this out. Composers rally against Discovery's reported plan to nix music royalty payments. Okay, so essentially what's happening here. This hit the news a little while ago, and now composers are doing something about it. The Discovery Channel, which has a bunch of other television channels under its umbrella, they have decided that starting in 2020, they're going to change the way they compensate people whose music they use. They're going to use a different way of doing royalties, where basically they're just not paying for the music. They're just either paying up front or they're not using the music at all. See, the way music royalties work is if you're an artist and say someone wants to use your music in a movie or a TV show, especially if it's on a huge platform like Discovery Channel, you get paid initially for that music. You get paid a fee for that. And then you get royalty checks every time that gets played. So every time that a TV show airs and your music is being used, you get some money for that. And that's collected by performance rights organizations like ASCAP and BMI. That's what those companies do. They collect those royalties on behalf of artists. A good example, the TV show Friends, that I'll Be There For You song, they get paid every single time that song gets played. So all the time. So that one song, I mean, they did a study on it years ago where it's like how much revenue that song generated for, and I forget which band it was that did that song, but basically that song, they never have to work another day in their lives because of that song, because it got picked up by Friends, which then became a huge hit. They didn't know Friends was going to be a big hit. They were like, oh, cool, this TV show's using our music. That's neat. We're getting paid for it. Then it became this smash sensation that has been, in circulation for so long, and they get paid every time. So basically, they're set now for life because of that song. So anyway, that's how royalties work. Discovery is working on changing all that in a negative way that screws over composers and musicians. Discovery Networks plans to restructure music deals for the shows like The Deadliest Catch in a move that would decimate composers' earning. So here's what they did. A group backed by 6,800 composers launched a social media campaign this week against a plan by Discovery Networks that composers say would cut their income by up to 90%. The cable network owner wants to eliminate the vast majority of royalties paid to people who create music for shows like Deadliest Catch by instituting a pay policy that goes against long-standing industry practice. Discovery, which airs some 8,000 hours of originally programming annually on the Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, HGTV, Food Network, and other channels across the globe, has traditionally followed a century-old model where composers are paid. They're paid an initial work-for-hire fee to compose original music and can collect royalties after shows that air through performance rights societies, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. Now, U.S. royalty payments make up a majority of a TV composer's income, which makes sense. TV composer, hence they compose for TV. All right. So beginning December 31st, Discovery is moving to direct source licenses, which would mean composers would no longer collect U.S. royalties for all future and past work. They would only collect upfront fees and foreign royalties. So basically, they would redesignate what they're considering the work they paid for so that they don't owe them royalties. That's what they're trying to do. If they don't take the deal, Discovery plans to strip the composer's music out of existing shows. Now, it's unclear how final Discovery's plans are. Hopefully not final at all, right? A source close to Discovery said there are ongoing conversations about the matter between the company and the music industry. So the plan is seemingly one meant to cut costs. Wow, okay. The plan is seemingly one meant to cut costs at Discovery. How much are they going to save? Check this out. Variety reported that estimates suggesting cutting out domestic royalty payments would save about $25 million. How much is that for a network like Discovery, though? Here's how much it is for a network like Discovery. Less than 1% of Discovery's third quarter 2019 revenue of nearly $2.68 billion. So they're going to screw over a bunch of composers and their ability to make a living. And what are they saving by doing that? How much are they saving by doing that? Less than 1% of the income generated from one of their quarters. Not for the whole year. Not even less than 1% on the whole year. Less than 1% of one of their 4 quarters. That's how much they're saving annually. And they're screwing over composers all across the world in the process by doing that. And you know what sucks is that there aren't enough protections in place so that something like this isn't legal. They're able to just designate the nature of the work so they can not pay performance royalties. Oh, this isn't a traditional work for hire. This is called something else. So now we don't have to pay you these royalties. They can do that. And there's no law stopping them from doing that because there aren't enough laws out there to protect performers and musicians and creators. And that's why we have these types of problems. And again, whenever policy shifts, it always goes against the creator. It always goes against musicians. It always goes against the artists. It always goes against the writers. And it's never like something changes in their favor where they're getting a better deal. No, it just gets progressively worse. That's how it happens in music. That's how it happens in film. That's how it happens to actors. That's how it happens to comedians. That's how it happens to writers. And there's no laws in place to kind of protect this, to protect creative people. There's no laws in place, pretty much. That's why a network like Discovery is able to get away with something like this. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully public outcry is so loud and these composers are so loud that they have to just nix this plan, which, by the way, would save them less than 1% of one of their quarters. Discovery, it's the holiday season, and I really hope that over the next few days, you're visited by 3 spirits who convince you that this is a really dumb idea, and it's not really going to save you anything, and it's going to screw over people who make your programming what it is. Especially the type of programming they do, the soundtrack is so essential. And you might not notice it a ton when you're listening to it, but it's for sure there. And it's more prominent than you realize. And if they just started using like royalty-free music, people would notice. Bad move, Discovery. Bad move, Discovery. Hopefully you change your mind in a true Scrooge moment. Scrooge on the good way. Change your mind for the good. All right. Thank you for sharing that truth to tweet. So this is something I wanted to mention. This takes us over to New York. Now, you guys know that net neutrality and municipal broadband is a huge part of the mission of this show. And next year, I want to start making mini documentaries around the issues of city-owned internet and municipal broadband, which is municipal broadband and net neutrality. And what we always said is that it's important to fight for net neutrality policy while simultaneously trying to take internet access out of big cable's hands and put it into the hands of cities and municipalities and people. And by the way, there's been a study conducted by Harvard that shows that when city-owned internet is in place, residents pretty much 100% of the time either get completely comparable or better internet. Usually it's better. It's at least just as good. And it's cheaper 100% of the time. So it saves towns and municipalities money. It creates jobs, and they're local, sustainable jobs by people in your community, not just some cable company comes in and gets a bunch of contractors. These are solid, sustainable city jobs. And you get a better internet at a better price, and it's going to stay free and open. So, but net neutrality policy is important in the meantime, because we need it. And I always said, so New York, we're working on a really good net neutrality bill that should be moving forward. Or excuse me, California has a good net neutrality bill here where I live. And New York is actually pushing for one as well. Now, here's the thing. You might think, I don't live in California. I don't live in New York. How does this pertain to me? Here's how it pertains to you. First of all, other states will follow. Second of all, if California and New York get solid net neutrality laws, it's going to protect the internet for everyone, because now you kind of tether these big cable companies, because they're like, oh, we want to unroll these post net neutrality packages that we're going to screw consumers even harder than we're already screwing them. But wait, we can't unroll them in California and we can't unroll them in New York. That's a hell of a lot of customer base, and we can't even unroll them there. So now it's not worth it for us to unroll them. So if California gets solid net neutrality, which we're on path, we're moving forward with it, because there was a court ruling recently that said states can have their own net neutrality protections. But here's what's going on in New York. New York governor promises net neutrality legislation in 2020. Andrew Cuomo, not the biggest Andrew Cuomo fan, but this is good news. Andrew Cuomo is following the lead of California and promising a law to reinstate net neutrality protections in New York State. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is joining states like California in proposing a law to ensure his state's internet users have access to a free and open internet. On Thursday, he called for a New York State net neutrality law as part of his 2020 legislative agenda. Cuomo's plan comes nearly 2 years after the FCC repealed Obama-era net neutrality protections. All right. So here's what Cuomo had to say. A free and open internet is one of the great equalizers, allowing every person the same access to information and helping protect freedom of speech. He said proposed legislation would assure that big corporations can't control what information we access or stymie smaller companies. All right, so this is huge. Hopefully this moves forward in New York, and hopefully continues to move forward in California as well. if California and New York get net neutrality, it will spread across the country and it will tether these big cable companies. So something to look forward to in the new year. And Jack shares this. And this is sort of a year in review when it comes to digital rights issues. And Jack shared this, thought it'd be appropriate for today's show. And I agree, it is appropriate for today's show. I like it. So this is from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I'm a big fan of their organization. They do a lot of great work. The year we thought to get net neutrality back. We fought. We didn't thought. The year we fought to get net neutrality back. Did I mention I'm a little hungover? This is the 2019 year in review. Ever since the FCC repealed net neutrality protections in 2017, this is from the article, we've been fighting to return as many protections to as many Americans as possible. In 2019, the battles in the courts and Congress both kept those committed to a free and open internet very busy. So here's a couple highlights. Mozilla versus the FCC takes center stage. So here's what happened. A bunch of people started suing the FCC for repealing net neutrality. Mozilla really led the charge, and other states joined in as well. So here's what happened. The court finally delivered its decision. The decision was ultimately mixed. While the majority of the FCC's order was upheld, the court instructed the agency to hold hearings to address 3 areas it concluded the FCC has failed to adequately consider: public safety, pole attachment rights, and subsidy program lifeline. In good news for advocates of a free and open internet, the court also unequivocally rejected the FCC's attempt to ban state net neutrality laws. The court didn't mince words on preemption, stating that the commission ignored binding precedent by failing to ground its sweeping preemption directive. Okay, in short, they said that the repeal of net neutrality stands. They said they were fine to repeal net neutrality, although there's a couple issues they didn't look at that they need to provide further information on. The other thing they ruled on was, but states can totally have their own net neutrality laws. There's nothing preventing states, because they wanted to make sure, the FCC wanted to say states can't make their own net neutrality laws. The court said, oh no, yes they can. States can make their own net neutrality laws. All right. Here's another thing that happened. The House passes the Save the Internet Act, leaving net neutrality in the hands of the Senate. The Save the Internet Act would make the protections of the 2015 Open Internet Order permanent. In April, the Save the Internet Act passed the House of Representatives by a vote of 232 to 190, leaving it up to the Senate to follow suit. So the Senate refuses to vote on it. Mitch McConnell is sitting on it, and he had the help of pretty much all of the Republicans, and then Kristen Sinema was among the dissenting Democrats who went against net neutrality. But here's the thing. They also wouldn't force the vote because now they didn't have to have Trump veto it. So that was, during this whole impeachment effort, this was one of the many, many gifts they gave to Trump. They gave Trump a lot of gifts while this was going on. They gave him a new NAFTA, which is just as bad as the old NAFTA. They gave him a Pentagon budget that was billions more than what he even asked for. They gave him 750,000 people don't have food stamps now from an order Republicans wanted. Let's see, what else did they give him? Oh, and they did this. It's the other thing we'll mention. They stopped net neutrality. They stopped net neutrality in the Senate so that he didn't have to veto it. All right. So those are some of the big things that happened. The House passes the Save the Internet Act. Now, again, the Save the Internet Act is literally a 3-page bill that just basically says, hey, that stuff we did in 2015 where we got net neutrality officially on the books, we're going back to that. Keep in mind, we've had net neutrality since the advent of the internet. We just got it solid on the books in law and not just this sort of written thing that we expected people to follow but couldn't actually enforce it. We got it as a solid law via an FCC designation in 2015. Then that got repealed in 2017. So this has been a long, hard-fought year for net neutrality. And yeah, as this article says, people committed to a free and open internet have been kept very busy this year. And shout out to all my colleagues at Fight for the Future. We did the epic live stream for net neutrality in June. We stormed Mitch McConnell's office with 3.5 million petitions for net neutrality. That was Fight for the Future, Demand Progress, the Hispanic Media Coalition, Free Press. Yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time. But 2019 was a busy year for digital rights activists, and 2020 is going to be as well. All right. So thank you for sharing that with me, Jack. I appreciate it very much. Very, very much. So, guys, I'm going to see what y'all are saying, and then we're going to sign off for the holiday. And I hope everyone. Oh, wait, I have one more thing that I need to do. And I'll actually do it at the end. I will do it at the end. And this was inspired by Edwin, one of my patrons, Edwin. Poopy Cakes, thank you very much for the super chat contribution. Poopy Cakes, cheers, Ron. Thanks for being so awesome. And the smiley face. Poopy Cakes, thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Happy holidays to you and yours. Guys, this is the last stream of the year, so get your tickets for some 2020 dates. Where are Graham Elwood and myself going in 2020? February 8th, Tucson, Arizona. February 29th, San Francisco, California. March 12th, Orlando. March 14th, Miami. We're working on March 13th. We're going to be coming to Tampa, maybe, probably somewhere in the Tampa area, but we're working on March 13th. If you're in Florida and you want to see us somewhere, ronplacone.com, let me know. We'll be in Orlando on March 12th. We'll be in Miami on March 14th. So let me know if you want to see us somewhere. Also, April 10th, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's just me. Tickets for that are available now. April 24th, Seattle, Washington. April 25th, Portland, Oregon. May 15th, Detroit, Michigan. June 19th, Louisville, Kentucky. July 11th, Chicago, Illinois. July 12th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Those are all the shows that are available now. All the tickets are available now for those shows, and you can get them at ronplacone.com. We will be announcing a lot more dates in the coming weeks. And pretty much by the first quarter of 2020, all of our tour dates will be confirmed. We're coming back to the East Coast. September 10th will be in New York City. That show is confirmed. Tickets aren't available yet, but September 10th, we will be back in New York City. We'll be coming to Boston. We're trying to get to Portland, Maine. We're trying to get to Burlington, Vermont. We're coming back to Philadelphia. We're coming back to DC. We might be going to Richmond, Virginia. There's going to be a lot of tour dates, so hold tight. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album. You get a patrons-only stream once a week. All kinds of fun stuff. You get full stand-up clips not available anywhere else. You get dialogues between myself and my cat, Lucy, and all that for a Give What You Can level, and you help me expand this ship. I want to start doing mini documentaries next year. I want to start doing more long-form projects that takes people and resources. So please, even $1 a month goes a really long way. So if you have an extra $1 a month that you're not going to miss and you believe in what this show is trying to do, please consider becoming a patron. You get all kinds of fun stuff and you're really helping grow this show. So again, that's patreon.com/Ron Placone. Makes a great holiday gift, by the way. It really does. Lucy, do you want to come say goodbye for the year? I think you should. I'll go grab Lucy. But first, so one of my patrons, Edwin, suggested this for the patrons only stream. He wanted a kind of holiday send off in the vein of Night Before Christmas, but kind of like a Night Before Christmas for maybe if you're kind of like an outsider, a free thinker, maybe you're an atheist or an agnostic, or you just kind of don't connect with the holiday vibe. Something for all of us. So I wrote this, and I hope you guys dig it. Here, let me get Lucy for it. I'll get Lucy, and she'll say her holiday goodbye, and I'll read it. I'll read the thing I came up with. All right, hold tight. Don't go anywhere. All right, here's Lucy. Lucy, meow. Become a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Lucy says meow. I say peace. But here it goes. I hope you all enjoy it. 'Twas the night before agnostic holiday, and all through the flat, a lot of creatures were stirring, 'cause most of us have cats. Texts were all sent to our loved ones with care, hoping there'd be a revolution next year. It's Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, said your drunk aunt. You leave the room. Don't need to hear the rest of that rant. This time of year, free thinkers may feel like we don't quite fit in. Light another joint, and if it's your thing, wash it down with some whiskey or gin. Cherish those good times, do your best, and know that you're not alone. Happy holidays and best health in the new year. I've been Ron Flacone. Hope you dig it. And happy holidays to you and yours. I hope it's a good one. I will see you in 2020. I'll be tweeting between now and then about when the show is going to kick back up and how things are going to go down. There'll still be clips coming out on this channel. But I will see you all in 2020 for another year of Get Your News On with Ron. Thank you so much for all of your support this year. It means everything. I cannot do it without you. Literally, this show would not exist without other people. So thank you for caring about it and for keeping it going. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday and a happy new year. And you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.